It's the low winter sun, 1st of December here. It makes me squint. It's gone behind a cloud, so that's not too bad. Back in the garden, it's not too cold, and I have one job today, and a job I've been waiting for quite some time, but it's a job that I'm not sure if I relish or fear, but it has to be done. It's the maple. I'm not Christmas decorating. I'll do that in a minute. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So when we first put the tree in with Monty, he was saying, oh, you know, if it were me, I would just cut off some branches right now. But I wasn't up to that. I wasn't ready for that sort of commitment and that sort of butchery. So what I did, I've left it. So it's second year that it's been in now, and it needs a going over. So what I did over summer, just get out the sun a bit. You see, I've sketched up the tree to see what the foliage looks like, and what I want to do is platform it a bit like this, a bit like you do in the Japanese style. So I looked at it from all the angles. I made little notes on where all the trunks were, and I tried to identify the primary, secondary and tertiary branches, see which ones were crossing over and where to cut. And then obviously I'm doing some research, because I had a go on this one. I don't know if you've seen a video on that. Cryptomeria had a bit of a going over, but this one is a bit more important. So I've written down some tips which I have gleaned. Never removed more than 20% of the crown. Don't remove a branch greater than half the diameter of the trunk. Never remove more than 25% of the leaves from the branch. So that's, good advice. So never remove more than 20% of the crown. So what I've done is gone through with these ribbons and tied them on. First of all, I've gone looking for any branches that are pointing down. That was my starting point. They'll have to come out. Anything that's crossing. There's very little that's dead here, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I've gone and looked at the structure of it after that, and just tying a ribbon on where I think a cut would go. Now I'm just going to look around and try and imagine what it's going to be like without these branches, and these red tapes certainly help. So I'm going to do that before I do any cutting. Right, I've had a good look round, and I'm pretty happy with what I've selected. So it should layer up here and layer up here. Take out this one, which is going to interfere with this one, which is going back on itself. If you have a jolly good look, it becomes very apparent what needs to come out. So what I'm going to do now is pretty much like before. I'm just going to take out the ones that definitely have to come out first, and then I'm going to look at the structural ones which come out next, and then take a step back, get a sense of it, and see if any of the ends need pruning to form these leaf platforms. Right, time for cutting. Well, that's the ones I'd identified needed to come out, and as you can see, things like this. It had been pruned badly in the past, and it's just very messy. And it was also getting in the way. Oh, I've missed one. Hang on, I've missed one. It's also getting in the way of the other branches. So it's good to get rid of that. And now I'm going to take a pause and just have a look around, see whether that's all I need to do on this. I'd rather not cut than cut, so I have left a few on that I was wondering about. And this is all I've taken off, not much. Right, now for some like Zen thinking and maybe a cup of tea, just to see what's left to do. Builders are next door, so that's what the background music is. It took me the longest time just to finesse and really look at the tree, because you're not just cutting in 3 dimensions, you're cutting in 4 dimensions. You've got to see where it's going to grow, and if anything looks a bit iffy, has to be taken out. The other thing is to prune for space, so you're not just thinking about how this branch is going to grow and form platforms. It's how between this branch and this branch you want some space here so you can actually see these leaves, and these platforms are separate. So a lot of umming and ahhing, I took this branch out, and it was definitely the right thing to do. So what I was doing was just standing back, imagining full leaf that side, full leaf that side. Would they balance out? I think they will, and that's enough for today. I've spent maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes just going around the tree, imagining how it's going to grow, and all I've taken out is this. Not much at all. I think it's going to be transformational. I've left bits here. This is quite a complicated bit, so I want to see how that grows next year before doing any more to that. But I'm pretty pleased. I can start to see the platforms on each side. So it's not quite got balance on this end here. It's getting straggly, so I'm going to leave that and see what happens. But I think it's been a good lesson. The notes in summer have definitely helped. Tying these ribbons on has definitely helped. I took off every branch that I'd marked just to make sure. But it's worth taking the extra time just to follow the branches through, to see, try and imagine what it's going to be like in leaf, and then find where the spaces, you can create spaces between. So it's not just cutting for leaves and growth, it's cutting to provide spaces between those leaves and growth so you can get a shape out of it. I'm pretty pleased, and to think this used to just sit in a pot outside my old house. I'm very grateful to Gavin for giving that to me, and also for Monty for staking it and helping us put it in. Looking good. Pride of the garden. We'll see you next time.